I'll have you know that your mother's very worried about your well-being.
Oh, we heard she might be here.
30 gold pieces is hardly worth a boat chase.
Is my mom only paying you guys 30 gold pieces? You gotta admit, that's kinda cheap for an adventuring guild. We could probably pay you more if you let me go.
How much more?
I could give you 50 gold.
Now my question is why did you leave your wand? Why no note?
I didn't leave a note because I knew my mom would chase after me. And I didn't grab my wand because I bought a spare. She doesn't pay attention to me. She just wants me to turn out just like her.
I have an idea that I think might make everyone a little happier. You guys are not going to the Red Isles. Not tonight, that is. But how about 50 gold pieces will get you to the Red Isles safely, then we'll come back here, tell your mother where you went, and leave it up to her to go get you.
I saw you sailing to the Red Isles with a vision from the god that I follow, and I am not one to play with fate. So I say that you three sail to the Red Isles, and we will handle the rest.
Prophetess, we have a group of adventurers here that have brought us more brothers and sisters from Xandria. And stepping out, you see the sunflower yellow tiefling. She has these horns that kind of curl up behind her head and almost touch, so it almost looks like her tiefling horns are making a halo. And stretching off of her back are these big, bright yellow, like feathered wings. Her eyes are just glowing bright white with like radiant divine energy. Ophelia had known that she was special ever since she was a little girl. It had been a hard lesson learned, the one gift she had received on the worst night of her life. There had been another breach, a big one. Despite how late it was, the islands were awash in the crimson glow of the Palandria Sea as it bubbled. Her mother had rushed her into a small cave just outside of their village and pressed a rudimentary holy symbol into her chubby hands. It had meant so much to her, even then. And then her mother kissed her forehead goodbye. "Be very quiet and very still," she had whispered to her child, doing her best to position herself in front of the cave. In hindsight, Ophelia now knew that she had been trying to block the sight of the demonic armies marching out of the boiling water. You mustn't cry out. If you need anything, pray. The gods will hear you. And then her mother had left. And that had been the last time Ophelia had ever seen her. Most of the night had been mostly safe, at least for her. She remembered cowering at the back of the cave, the slick cold stone pressed against her tiny wings. She was still too young to fly. Back then, they were just ornamental. She watched the village rally against the forces of the lowest, javelins and spells flying up into the air at dozens of circling black bodies in the night. Every once in a while, however, something bigger and far more terrible would pull itself onto the shore, and that was when it happened. Ophelia was never quite sure exactly what had transpired, but she reasoned it had been a simple chain of events. Something horrible had come out of the water, and the village, or perhaps a hired adventurer, had done its best to strike it down. And after having dealt it a lethal blow, perhaps they too were killed, or maybe they simply moved on to their next target. But the reality was, the monster wasn't dead, and it had drug itself away into the woods, most likely thinking to die in solitude. But instead, it had found her. To her then, as a child, it had been larger than life, a horrible mass of red skin and fangs, gushing its hellish ichor as it shambled ever closer to her. She was trapped at the back of the cave, pinned with nowhere to go. The only painful mercy was that the fiend was missing its legs, and so was forced to travel at a slow pace. As tears streamed down her face, she began to pray. It was a desperate, childish prayer, begging for her life. She called out to Godric for protection, for Osmaldus for safety. She wept to Arwell to come to save her, or for Halo to burn whatever that was before her away forever. But no respite came. To Corinda she cried for order, and to the Queen Mariella she asked to an end for fear, and to chaos. She screamed out every divine name her mother had so painstakingly taught her. Sylph, Enoch, the couple. Still nothing. The red horror was so close to her now, she could feel its breathing on her skin, pushing back her hair and her feathers. Numbly, she could hear a small voice at the back of her head. They can't hear you. As the creature opened its mouth, Ophelia could see its rows of black, crooked teeth, and she made one last, desperate call. Anyone, help, please. The divine light that filled the room then was blinding, brighter than anything Ophelia had ever seen. A radiant flash that lit up the cave brighter than day. Ophelia remembered being stunned, frozen in fear, as she watched her hand stretch out before her and the fiend turn to charcoal and ash. She felt warm and cool all over, as a rush of something new and inexplicable filled her body. Someone had heard her, and they had helped, and they had chosen her for something great. And ever since then, no matter how many times the Red Sea bubbled or Ophelia found herself lost or alone, there was one thing that she knew for certain. Someone did hear her, and they listened to what she had to say. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Pillar Arisen!
Well, damn!
I don't know about anyone else, but I know Kaya was going to go down and help Ophelia with the injured people and the battle that happened. I don't know if we want to, see that or just skip past it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jerusalem has questions, so...
We could kind of have a montage going on of you guys talking to Ophelia while we get scenes of Kaya and Ophelia, healing people, tending to wounded, stuff like that. Lois also has some healing magic if Lois wants to chip in. Jerusalem mostly deals in the art of making HP go down, not up. So...
Yeah. I had a thought. It was, Ophelia is constantly in the avatar state.
No!
Kinda. That is kind of what's happening with the eyes.
Stop.
Yeah, so, Jerusalem has a couple questions.
Sure. If you guys just want to launch into the roleplay and fire away questions and talk to Ophelia, you are welcome to.
Yeah. Jerusalem's gonna be his normal rude self and
Incredible.
Come up and be like, hey, can we possibly get paid for bringing your followers back safe? They mentioned something about extra for our services.
Oh, of course. If compensation is something you need, we would be happy to lend you a hand. We don't do too much gold here.
I knew it!
In the Red Isles, we've kind of been forced to,
I knew it when Maribel said money is no object. I was like, then they don't need money.
We have gold here, obviously, to trade with Grayscale, and other nations, for various different, services and military forces. Sometimes they come and lend a hand. But for the most part, the Red Isles use a system of bartering. It's kind of hard to care about wallets when you live on top of a planar rift.
Well, we saved their lives, so...
If you require some gold, I'm sure that we have something in our amount.
Gold, or you said bartering, I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement. What you got?
I don't know what I have on hand, but I will speak to Josephine, and they will offer you whatever we believe is an adequate amount.
Yikes.
Jerusalem's gonna look to Lois to back him up here.
Lois just goes, well, we can obviously talk about that once you figure out what you do have, of course, because as we were told, money is no object, so...
Lois says, eyeing Ophelia up and down.
This can. How about you guys? One of you roll persuasion check, and one of you help.
I will do the persuasion because I have
better persuasion than Jerusalem.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Roll with advantages since Jerusalem is aiding you.
Okay. So, the first roll, which I'm glad I have advantage on, was a nat 1, and then the second was an 18 plus 5. So, I'm gonna go with 18 plus 5.
Good, because I rolled a 6 to help.
Oh no!
Which I feel like is about as good as Jerusalem is.
Helping, as long as you have proficiency in it, you just give them advantage. Let me just real quick roll something for...
I actually do have proficiency in
Ophelia.
persuasion. It's just not great.
Yeah, as long as you have proficiency, you can give them the help action, which just gives them flat advantage.
Which I thank you.
What did you get again?
Hold on. I have to do math for that. 23. I got a 23.
Oh, sweet summer chat.
Is there a problem?
Ophelia smiles and goes, naturally, we will be needing a decent amount of our gold to help our local community here that has just suffered a natural disaster of sorts, but of course you'll be compensated.
I don't like that. Just so you know, Riley, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
But Loish just gives a smile and goes, of course. And then he looks at Jerusalem like, what the fuck? That normally works.
How good's your charisma stat, real quick?
Mine is a +3.
Okay, you think Ophelia might be hotter.
Oh, obviously she is.
Though?
Don't worry about it. Do you have any other questions?
Well, there is one.
Sure.
Your followers of Divinity mentioned something or other about wanting to have more gods in the world because more gods equals more good. How exactly does one apply to be a god? I'm so glad I don't have to say this with a straight face.
Ophelia, is healing a person at this moment, and they just, it's like a cat person, and they just turn and look at you. And she, the thing is, she does not act like this is a weird question, or like a faux pas or anything. She finishes healing this cat person, and, squeezes their shoulder, tells them to be well, and, sends them on their way. She gets up, she kind of dusts her hands, and she goes, well, that is a bit of a difficult question. I suppose, as of now, it depends upon the deity. Most deities tend to award divinity to their most cherished followers and believers, normally religious people that have done them great services or worked great power in their name. When they die, the god elevates them to a station, making them a celestial of some sort, that sort of thing. I suppose another way would be to be born divine. For instance, a demigod would be one way. As for signing up, that is not exactly a service that exists in the world. We believe in creating as much divinity in the world as possible. It's not a matter of signing up for a list. I don't have a spell that will make you divine, but we have some ideas upon how to increase the divinity in the world through various means and methods. And if you would like to join our order and learn more about how we plan to accomplish this goal, you are absolutely welcome here, and I would love to explain it to you.
Okay, then. He's, instantly bored.
Instantly does not care.
Interest has dived.
It's a good thing Kai is minding her own business and healing a bunch of people. Otherwise, she would smack both of you for being so disrespectful.
I haven't said anything!
I mean, the only thing Jerusalem got from that is You can become a god if you can get the couple to like you.
That's what she said is how it works now.
So by now, what do you hope for in the future? How that possibly could change?
Well, I certainly, she, like, glances at Kaya's, like, holy symbol of Osmaldus. I certainly wouldn't want to offend or, ruffle any feathers, as it were, but do you believe that a person in power over... Let's use your guild as an example. Do you believe that your leader has enough, time and energy to bestow upon the two of you? Deafening silence, which is fantastic.
Jerusalem's just like side-eyeing Lois.
Lois isn't gonna say shit! This is a Kaya answer, thank you very much!
No, it's not.
Yes, it is!
She asked both of you.
Kaya's off doing a different thing. This was a question to Jerusalem and Lois.
Kaya is here in this area.
Yeah, Kaya heard.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Lois just examines his perfectly manicured fingernails.
I wouldn't have started this guild if I wasn't capable of leading it.
Well, of course. It's because you are a small, tight-knit group, and there's a few of you, you have ample time to know each other, build up trust and bonds, and you are available for each other. Imagine a teacher in a room full of children. One teacher may do their best to educate a group of 10 children, and depending on the skill of the teacher, perhaps they can. But say that teacher was forced to look after or care for 20 children or 30 children. Imagine that you are a person who has a responsibility, and that responsibility accounts for thousands of lives on Torius, if not all of Almora. Eventually, people and things are going to start slipping through the cracks. It is not a judgment upon the gods or a mark of their failing. It is simply a matter of quantity. No matter how skilled you are, eventually you will reach a level where your attention and energy can't reach everywhere. That is simply the reality of things. However, if there are more people with smaller responsibilities, larger groups of people with smaller responsibilities, making sure that everyone has, back to my example, a group of 10 children, then everyone is cared for in equal measure. And that is what we believe at the Followers of Greater Divinity.
I figured out the misunderstanding. I thought you were referring to like Jerusalem's group that he comes from, and like you were referring to the mob leader there.
No, she was referring to Jerusalem's group of Kaya and Lois.
Yeah, I didn't know you were referring to Jerusalem as the leader.
The guild.
Yes.
Jerusalem kind of nods and is like, I see. So it's kind of like how, as the Braid, we can have as many customers as we want because it's the three of us working on it. I do the leading, Lois does the whatever he does, and Kaya does the guarding.
No. What do I do? Come on. And he, like, waves his hand and, like, continue. Looking very amused, he goes, you hired me for some reason. Come on. You know what it is. Just admit it.
You talk to people for me.
You need to brush up on your social skills.
Kaya just brushes her hands off and comes back to the conversation as she's listening in as she comes back.
My
and she's
social skills are great. I just don't need to work on them. I have better things to be doing.
She sighs. She's like, it is the followers' responsibility to make up for the leader's inability to do certain things.
I can do anything I want to. I just don't want to talk to people.
A leader by itself cannot do anything. A leader with followers can do anything.
I suppose it comes down to a simple matter of difference in philosophy, I suppose. She smiles and stretches. She looks around. It's a decent time in the day. It's around afternoon. You see the sun shining on the red ocean. Everything is looking absolutely gorgeous. She just smiles and goes I simply believe that the world would be a better place if everyone's voice was heard by someone. And I suppose this is a matter of opinion, but in my opinion, some voices are getting lost in the crowd. It's hard to believe that Osmaldus knows all and hears all when you live on the Red Isles, you understand. One of their core tenets is that the different layers of the pillar should not mix too frequently, and yet my people here live in an endless struggle to stay alive and maintain their homes.
I see your point with that. So, we're trying to boost divinity in the world so that more people will not be overlooked, per se. Am I getting the overall conclusion of that correct?
Yes, to an extent. I believe that there should be more gods to look after the people of this land, to boil it down simply. And I aim to make the amount of divinity in this world increase exponentially.
I'm not sure how increased divinity would affect the world as it currently stands, but I do understand your point. The world could use a little bit more of a helping hand.
She smiles.
This sounds like the godliest pyramid scheme.
She smiles and goes, and so it is obviously a matter of discovering how to make this happen. There are multiple ways of creating more divinity in the world, and most of them I plan on utilizing to their fullest potential. Obviously, some are out of our control. For instance, I can't convince the gods to have more children and bring more gods into the world. And from what I can tell, not even all of their children would be divine in nature. Some of them would be creations of life and that sort of thing. But,
yeah, wasn't there something about the moth people?
Lois looks off to the side, just
moth people?
Oh, yeah, little bit of a tidbit I picked up. There's moth people now.
There's moth people now. Fascinating. I'm afraid news doesn't exactly travel fast out here. But now I know.
Her voice was just there's moth people now.
I wish someone had told me this.
And now you know.
No, to be fair, I think the only couple people who know is the four of them at this point. In this area, at least, because unless did the messenger say it to the whole town yet, or was it just kind of a thing he just told Jerusalem?
The people in Xandria know.
Okay.
You don't know if that news has reached the Red Isles yet.
Yeah,
probably apparently not.
Xandria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what god the moth people came from.
Self. It's Self and a demon.
Well, that bit is something that Lois knows.
I know,
because Lois is Lois. As far as you, Jerusalem, know from what Tobias told you, Sylph made a bunch of moth people in the world, and the moth people went to the elves and were like, "We are also children of the Fae. We should come live with you." And the elves are like, "It's getting kind of cramped in here, though." Ooh.
Which is surprising, because they're elves.
I would love that. It's just now's not really a good time. And
You see, our racism just won't allow.
yeah.
And Lois is over just off to the side thinking, my sugar mama had a bad breakup.
Not my sugar mama. It's like my mom. It's not even just sugar mama.
Yeah.
It's my mom is going through a tough time of a breakup. Yikes.
Lois being like, if I had a kid, what would it look like?
Anyway, it's around this time that Ophelia has started wrapping up, tending to the village people here. You see other members of the greater divinity are out here helping. You even see Maribel helping people and tending to some wounded. And Ophelia just talks to you about various different divine theories. And ways she expects that more gods could be brought into the world, and how the planet would benefit from domains being split up among various gods instead of a group of 9 gods holding almost all of the domains. And she's like, well, it's getting well into the afternoon. What do you say we head back to the compound and we have some lunch? And I'm sure Josephine will find something to pay for your troubles.
That sounds wonderful.
Lovely. As you're all heading up, Ophelia dips back so she can talk to Kaya for a moment.
Oh.
And she goes, I hope you understand I meant no disrespect towards Osmaldus when I was speaking earlier. I find your faith a commendable thing. One that you and the people like you should be praised for. Osmaldus and their followers have done a lot for my people here.
I took no offense, and in a way, I sort of believe what you are saying. I don't necessarily believe there should be more gods, but I do believe that there should be more devout followers of gods who can do the gods' bidding with no question. Who will do their work so that they don't have to, so that the gods' reach can go further. And that is my goal in life.
Well, I imagine if Osmaldus had more followers such as you, Kaya, they would have very little trouble in getting anything done. Perhaps they would finally be able to seal up this ocean.
A little ping in Kaya's brain goes off of Kaya will once again remember this.
Again. What if we just closed the brain?
Yeah. A thing meant as a compliment, but that doesn't quite get there. Which is absolutely what I meant it to be. And
Kaya's going to close this ding-dang portal.
Ding-dang portal.
You guys come back to the compound. You see, everyone, is eating, not together, but, kind of at the same time. It seems that, a lot of the resources are being shared here. Everyone is, eating alone together, almost there are different groups breaking down on their own, but also people are passing food between each other. There's just a lot of cooking that's happening. This whole place smells fantastic. And you all come in. She sits you down next to Tiphys, Glee, and Tix, the followers that you beat up in town. Maribel is also sat down with you, and after
We didn't actually beat them up. They just tripped.
I know. I was like, we didn't beat them up. They fucking tripped on their own.
They're probably
feet.
telling everyone that we beat them up.
Yeah, they're
Fucking rude.
Glee, you hear Glee, like, telling someone's like, oh, we had a mighty battle, but they're just so strong they overpowered us.
We definitely didn't trip on a rock.
I was just so worried about Maribel getting hurt, you see.
Lois is rolling his eyes.
And while you guys are eating, eventually, the Minotaur woman you guys met earlier, Josephine, she comes to you and she goes, Ophelia mentioned to me that you were hoping for some compensation for aiding our brothers and sisters, so I hope that this will suffice. And she hands you guys a large amethyst.
That will definitely suffice. And looks at Jerusalem with the, if you refuse this, I swear to God.
No, Jerusalem's eyes have just widened. He's like, I think that will do. It's very nice to not have to go back home empty-handed, so thank you.
She smiles, and, like, gives you this, it's like a pretty big amethyst. I don't know if any of you have any way of determining its worth.
No.
Would that be a history check?
I'll let it be a history check for you, Jerusalem, because you're a fancy boy.
He probably had workings with jewels.
It absolutely would not be history for Kaya.
No.
I think I would allow it to be history for Lois, but...
I feel like for Kaya it would be more of like a religion if you're trying to see if it had any historical, like, not historical, but like significance.
Yeah. Kaya grew up in a desert, so I don't know how much exposure to gemstones she's super gotten.
I only know the one gemstone, and that's the place where my home was blown up.
I have a 19.
A 19. You expect that this amethyst is worth around 100 gold.
That's definitely good.
So like 33-ish each.
Yeah,
Hell
plus
yeah.
the 30 gold, plus the 50 gold that you got from Maribel.
Which is now 40.
You are now looking at a haul of 150 gold for this, but obviously you will have to find somewhere to sell the gemstone.
I mean, Jerusalem's more interested in just keeping the gemstone.
Right. Gemstone would also be, yes.
The inheritance thing that his goal is does not have to be flat, like, liquid money. It can be,
just
assets
want to have a
and
vault
whatnot.
full of expensive items.
That's his goal. That's why he was fine with anything other than money. He was like, maybe they'll give me a magic sword or something. But no, an amethyst is way better. You could put that thing in a crown.
Yeah. There you go. You don't know why they had this.
He doesn't care.
And you don't care.
Jerusalem's like, yes, I have it now.
It's mine, you see.
It doesn't matter why they had it, it is mine now.
That's all that matters.
I can do with it as I please.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
mean,
sleep
yeah.
with it under my pillow.
Sure.
He's probably gonna give it to the frog.
Kermit!
Be like, keep this safe.
Crumpet, thank you
Crumpet.
very much. Crumpet
Sorry.
the bullywug.
Yeah, I bet he just, like, hands Crumpet everything and is like, keep this safe for me. I don't know, put it in the bank or something. Or keep it. Just make sure it's there.
I will say, you have opened up a bank account in Xandria. It is currently holding... Let me just double check the numbers real quick.
0.
Let me just double check the numbers real quick. Let me go over to shops, the Xandria Marketplace. Let me scroll down. Let me just double check real quick. And yeah, you have 0 gold in your bank. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a note of the 40 gold we have right now, but we still have to put that in the bank.
Yeah. Hey, is there interest?
you will have to speak to your bank accountant.
We're gonna have to play long enough for there to be, like, months, All of this has happened in the span of, like, 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't think they have daily interest.
It has been 2 days. So you guys are eating. If you guys want to have more like roleplay or scenes here, speaking to Ophelia or any of these characters, just feel free. I I have nothing left at this point, so you go crazy.
Honestly, I think at this point, whenever Jerusalem and Lois start talking like payment and stuff, Kaya purposefully just zones them out of her brain because she doesn't want to deal with it. So she's like,
Kaya's like, we are a charity. We are a charity. We are a charity.
so while they're doing that, Kaya, I think that whole time has been like chatting with shoot, I forgot his name, but earlier the guy who was talking about like how it was a mighty battle and stuff.
That would be the tiefling Glee.
Yeah, I think Kaya's been like, as he was saying that, Kaya like joined in. It's like, yes, you fought nobly. You are honestly a very powerful warrior. I am looking forward to our future battles.
Hey, roll deception.
Oh, what's deception?
It's charisma.
Charisma. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. I rolled a dirty 20?
Yeah.
Wild. Glee believes you. No one else at the table does. Glee like nods and he's like, next time if I just had my hands full, I'll show you what's what.
So if anything, it worked out better than just telling the table that it wasn't true. Now they believe it's not true without you having to disappoint Glee.
Yeah. Like, you see the lion man just, like, very quietly just, like, eating some meat, just, like, not looking at Glee, just, like, he got very interested in what's on his plate at the moment. Tiphys is in their changeling, like, natural form, so they're just, like, a perfectly featureless humanoid, so they don't have any features to betray them. But you imagine if they had, they would be struggling very hard to seem neutral.
What's the body language saying?
Let me just roll real quick for Tiphys. Tiphys is perfectly rigid. Like, is not eating, is just like a L placed on the dirt.
Oh no. I love it.
So good.
Lois, are you gonna chat anyone up or possibly pickpocket?
That is a that is something I am thinking of possibly.
I just imagine like Lois walking around and doing that thing where you kind of like lean over someone's shoulder just to say hi and talk, but at the same time he's just like reaching back.
That sounds great. That sounds like something Lois would do. He's just like chatting, telling stories because he's a performer.
Just arm over shoulder to a random person.
I mean, he is a performer, so he's definitely giving
name dropping his own name.
Man, that Lois, have you seen him? He sounds great. Who's Lois?
No, I was talking about the other
Lucky
name.
Starlight.
Oh,
Lucky
Starlight. That's right.
So I think that's genuinely what Lois is doing. It's just like,
roll to see if you get anything.
Riley, what do I need to roll?
This is a charisma check. You're not adding your proficiency. Just
Okay.
a plain charisma
Lois
check.
is pickpocketing, in which case it's
You are
Sleight of
not.
hand.
You are not pickpocketing for flirting.
That's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Okay.
Second dirty 20.
Everyone really seems to be buying into your whole flavor right now, Lois. Like, Glee and Tix are engaged. Josephine has sat down and is listening to you, like, chat. So it's like fully is just like said, like, I'm sitting over here. Maribel also seems to be like, wow, this guy must be really cool, because she has no reference point to what cool actually is. So she's like also like, wow, a musician. We have so many of those. But this seems different apparently because he's saying it's a big deal.
I mean, to be fair, Maribel's probably only heard dark elf music.
Yeah.
Maribel is from Spider's Keep, which has a lot of like Fey people, and so who literally have nothing better to do than to figure out how they want to spend eternity. And so there's kind of a pretty intense party culture there. So a lot of elves have picked up instruments and painting and stuff like that. So Maribel is at once the most sheltered person here, but probably has the best ear for music.
I think one of my favorite ideas about elves is the fact that they can just dive headfirst into the textile industry, because weaving and like hand sewing and hand weaving lace and whatnot takes days and days and months. So when you're an elf,
That's true.
you can just do that. Their clothing must be so good and their fashion industry must be so top of the line because they don't have to worry about wasting their lives away on it.
They super don't. They have literally nothing better to do.
All of a sudden, like, the way your voice got that really wistful sound, and I was like, are you okay?
I wish my life was that.
I really like the textile and fashion history and industry.
Dude, if I had time, I would love to do hand-done lace.
Oh, geez.
Man, with all the bobbins
Yeah.
and whatnot.
That would be so cool.
Okay, now can I roll to see if I took anything?
Yeah, roll sleight of hand.
Hell yeah, and that is plus what, my dex?
Plus your dexterity, yes.
Alright.
And your proficiency.
I know, I
so
have
you
a
have
proficiency. I do have it.
+4, I believe.
That makes it all together a plus 4, yeah.
Yeah, I have a +6 to sleight of hand.
That is a 17.
la-di-da, you're a rogue. You got a 17?
Yes.
You kind of scooch over to, do you want to go over to the buff lion man, or do you want to go over to the cute minotaur?
Ooh, decisions.
You could do the buff lion man and then seduce the cute minotaur later.
That is very true.
Like, why steal what you can get for free?
That is very true. So yeah, the buff lion man.
So you kind of like lean over and you slide your hand around the lion man's like waist while you're talking, and you're gesturing with the other hand. So everyone's like looking where you're gesturing and paying very close attention to you. And you reach with your other hand that is now like kind of like slid around his waist. So he kind of thinks you're like wrapping your arm around his waist. You slide your hand into his pocket and you deftly and masterfully pull out a pamphlet.
Great!
Damn it!
Is this your card?
That's hard.
Is that a pamphlet in your tunic, or are you just happy to see me?
No! I'm gonna smack you.
Smack Riley with the pamphlet.
Yeah, there's really nothing good here.
Yeah.
Literally, you are trying to rob a religious commune that lives in one of the most besieged, like, ruined nations on the planet? What did you expect?
You'd think you'd find, like, a good weapon or something.
Hey, they had a large amethyst. You don't know where they were keeping that or what else they have.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know where the hell that is.
It certainly wasn't in Tix's pants.
Well, life's fun. Might as well give it a damn try, first and foremost. But then I would like to try to flirt with the cute minotaur.
Yeah, sure. Roll another charisma check. No proficiency.
Okay. That's a nat 20.
Whoa.
That's a nat Okay, what do you say to Josephine?
So Lois comes up and he goes, you know, this is despite everything that you people go through, the fact that you're all able to still reach out a hand and offer the help and guidance is very, very wonderful. And might I say, you are looking rather stunning tonight.
If Bull Lady could blush, she would. She seems very flustered. She's like, oh, it's just what Ophelia has taught me to do. You know, it's nothing special. Everything here is because of her kindness. Oh my gosh. She seems to like you, yeah.
Fanning herself.
Between this and the music, we haven't quite reached fanning herself yet, but yeah. She's doing, she's like a pretty big member of your fan club at this point.
Good. That's
Good,
me saying
great.
good.
Moving on.
No, that's me. Does anyone else have anything, or do y'all just want me to keep flirting?
I would say about an hour has passed at this point. And you've been here for about half a day now, so it's around 3 o'clock. If someone wants to roll insight, that would be great.
I can do that this time.
Yeah, sure, go for it, Thug.
Insight. 17.
You don't know how long Jag is gonna hang out here. And he's your ride.
Yeah, Jerusalem is also feeling like wrapping up. To be fair, he's not talking to anyone either, so.
Yeah, I think Kaya goes over to the other two and relays that information.
Yeah. Jerusalem is like, yeah, I agree. One last thing. I gotta talk to Ophelia. So is she around?
Yeah, she eats dinner with everyone else.
Yeah.
She's like sitting down with, let me roll a d6 to generate a random person. She's eating with a frog person, this little poison like frog standing on 2 legs, and she's chatting with them like pretty happily. They're like nibbling on like an olive. I don't know what do frogs eat.
Bugs?
Bugs?
Oh, I get what do frog people eat more accurately.
Bugs?
Bugs? Yeah, that's all I can think of.
He is eating a olive.
Larger bugs.
He's eating an olive.
Okay.
I
Eating
don't
it
know. No,
Sure,
olives.
they eat, normal vegetarian stuff and maybe some extra. No, they would be omnivores, wouldn't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. Jerusalem goes over to Ophelia and kind of like, I don't know if they're like sitting at tables or whatnot, but
No,
he's like, "Hey, Ophelia, thanks again for the payment. Really appreciate it. We'll be heading home soon, but if you ever need the Braid to come around and I don't know, do any jobs for you, we're super discreet, and yeah, you can hire us if you want."
I will be sure that when I think of someone to aid the followers of greater divinity, the Braid is the first word that leaps to my lips. Thank you very much for helping one of my children return to us. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And enjoy that amethyst. She like winks at you.
Jerusalem's like, "I will. Thank you."
Lois now is like, I want the wink. Lois in his head is like the wink. I want to kind of check out what the hell that means now.
Lois is jealous. The gears in Lois's head are just going, and he's like, Jerusalem hasn't done anything nice to Ophelia. What's Jerusalem doing differently than I am? How did Jerusalem warrant a wink? How can I get that wink?
Jerusalem's just like, "Listen, if you need us to kidnap anyone else for you." Yeah, but that's all I wanted to say, was just let Ophelia know that she can hire them.
She absolutely seems to mentally put you into her Rolodex.
Oh, actually, Kaya wants to go talk to Maribel and say goodbye.
Sure. Maribel is eating lunch with you, so.
Yeah. So Kaya like wraps up with everyone else and then goes over to Maribel and she says, "Well, it seems that we are on our way. I just wanted to wish you good luck with your new home here. And I wanted to know if we were to tell your mother something when we return, because I assume we will be speaking to her again. Is there anything you would want us to relay?"
She like kind of like goes pale almost, and she goes like, "If I could have my way, you wouldn't tell her anything. She's not going to rest until I return to Spider's Keep."
Well, we'll have to think of some excuse for her, but I do wish you luck with your new home.
She smiles, and she goes, "Thank you. I feel like I finally found something worth doing, you know?"
It's always good to find that internal need for belonging.
Yeah, I think so too.
You have much to explore in this world, and I hope it is enjoyable for you. And Kaya gives a little bow.
She gives a little bow back.
And Kaya goes on her way.
Okay. Kaya goes and stands at the edge of the compound and waits for Lois to quit flirting with the Minotaur, and Jerusalem to stop soliciting the priest for like black market like jobs.
Lois says to Josephine, is just goes, unfortunately, my time here is coming to a close, but I will hopefully be seeing you again sometime soon. And he definitely grabs her hand and gives it a gentle kiss on her knuckles as he's bowing.
She smiles this big smile and goes, I would love it if I could meet you again, Lucky Starlight. And she kind of like giggles at the thought of using your stage name.
I will remember you, Josephine. Have a great evening.
You too.
You too. And she goes back to chatting with Tiphys, Glee, and Tix. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like Lois and Jerusalem have wrapped up their business. Are you all heading back down to the beach?
If Lois had kept talking to that lady, I did a roll, and it was a flat 19 to throw my spear and have it land right next to him.
You know what? No, I cannot do that. That's the reason why Lois has to say goodbye to Josephine.
Maybe don't go throwing around spears around this religious commune, but sure. Whatever floats your boat, my guy.
Just at Lois. It's fine.
Lois is in a group of people right now.
It's an internal joke.
It's an internal joke.
There are, like, kids here.
Kaya's a good shot.
There's, like, a little purple tiefling girl that's just, like, staring at you and drooling a little. Like, she's, like, 3, and you're just gonna huck a javelin at your friend?
Maybe.
Lois and Jerusalem, not to decide what your characters do, but you guys head on over, I imagine, and have you wrapped up your business here?
Yeah, I figure we're going back to Jag. He's only gonna get so much business waiting around, so.
So you guys head back down towards where Jag parked his boat. Again, he didn't park at the village, but like a little bit ways off where like he could see them. He had to like yell at them to try and convince them to come buy his stuff because he didn't want to waste time here, and so he was hoping to like sell weapons to them. As you guys are walking up to the ship, I would like you all to roll perception checks.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Was that intelligence or wisdom?
Perception is wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay.
How can I have a dice box and still have it roll off the table?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness! I got a 5.
Oh, no.
I've got a 9.
15.
Yeah, seems cool. It's like it's getting quiet. It's afternoon, so it's like it's kind of hot. The red water is not like bubbling or roiling or storming like it was last night, so it's just washing against the sand in a nice way. The red water kind of has like almost like a Kool-Aid dye effect on the sand, so some of the sand here is like turned pink because of it. And you guys head over to the ship, and you guys start getting on. Once you are all on Jag's merchant vessel, you see Jag on the floor of the boat.
Like, lying?
Yeah, lying on the floor of the boat.
Kaya
He's
goes
just
over to
napping.
him.
Yeah. Roll a medicine check?
Oh!
Oh no!
He's so sleepy.
I don't have medicine.
It is wisdom.
Yeah, I don't have a thing, and I don't have a medicine skill.
This will be a pretty simple medicine check.
Is it 10?
Is he dead or not?
Yeah, you check his pulse. He is breathing. He has been knocked unconscious.
Okay.
Sometime in the hours that you left him on this boat.
Would it be like a perception or a medicine check to even see how he might be unconscious?
I'm gonna say, Kaya is like the main healer and person that would have like medical knowledge here. Maybe Lois could roll an Arcana check to see if it was a spell, but because Kaya got that 10, I'm gonna say you don't know. You just know Jag is alive and is unconscious on the floor of his ship. And you aren't seeing any of Jag's like crew, but then again, like Jag didn't bring any of his crew as far as you're aware.
It was just
Yeah,
us.
I thought
We
it
were
was just
helping.
us.
You three. But yeah, he's just like alone on this boat.
There's no one below deck?
Can I do a perception roll to see if there was like any signs of struggle
Yeah,
or
everyone roll
straight
perception.
stealing or?
Everyone, or?
Because I know you had us roll perception before we got
Mhm.
on, but I feel like this is a little.
Now that you're on the boat.
Wait, so everyone roll perception?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone.
Why am I rolling so badly? I got a 4.
I got an 11.
I love how Jerusalem has rolled so consistently bad on perception and insight checks, so it really just makes Jerusalem seem like this super confident but kind of oblivious person who's just like, does like
I mean-
one look around, does not move, and is like, I have gleaned everything I need to from this situation.
He does have a god complex, but man.
I seem to keep
Um,
rolling like just under the amount. I got a 16 this time.
I got an 11.
You see, standing in the shadow, two figures wearing very bad hats that have black silk veils
I
dropping
knew
down
it.
to protect them from the sunlight. And you hear a voice.
How far away are they?
They're at the other end of the ship, so I'm gonna say about 40 feet.
I have 40 feet!
This is a smaller ship, so let's say 30. They're
Yes.
standing there, and you all hear Luxabel's voice echo out. You don't know from where, and she goes, "Do you think that a wizard would not use some manner of divination or clairvoyance to ascertain the location of their hired blades? To think that a member of the Estierol family would betray the Lumi clan. Jerusalem, I hope you know that once I am finished with you and I have reclaimed my daughter from these cultists, your parents will be the first to know of your
no.
underhanded business dealings."
Betray. Clearly there's been some sort of miscommunication here.
I would like you all to roll initiative.
Oh!
Jesus. Okay.
Alright! Might have to roll bad on this.
I got
Dirty
a,
20.
I got a
on
17.
initiative.
I got a 17.
Okay, everyone wait for just a second. Oh
Got
my
a
God.
9.
I said wait.
You
for just
told
a
us to roll
second.
We said everyone
initiative.
roll initiative.
I have to roll initiative for like 5 people. Calm down.
Thought it was just the 2.
Yeah, you did.
Bitch!
Jerusalem's all like, but my plan.
You get a flashback to you standing on the ship at night, like not looking around and just thinking, there is no way that this could come back and bite me in the ass.
I mean, okay, let's look about the logic here, though. By finding out why she wanted to go there, it's like, if we had just stopped her from going there at all, she would obviously try and escape again.
Do you think that, yeah, by that logic, do you think that's something Luxabel is concerned about?
No, but it's what Jerusalem's thinking.
Luxabel hired you to, like, kidnap back her daughter and had eyes on you while you didn't do that job and explicitly took money from the daughter to not do that and then, like, hung out with some cultists. Like, Luxabel is a wizard and is smart.
Yeah.
We thought she was just a MILF.
You should always be afraid of MILFs. What are you talking
I'm
about?
not saying that Luxable should see it Jerusalem's way. I'm just saying Jerusalem
still was gonna do what Luxable wanted. Eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
He was just gonna do it in the way he could get the most money out of it.
Lois, what did you get?
I got a 17.
A 17? Okay.
Mhm.
Jerusalem?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? And Kaya?
9.
9.
We're on a boat. It's moving around.
You're a horse.
You got your sea legs.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my thing that I say every time Kaya rolls badly. I'm like, ugh, but you're a horse.
Yeah.
Every day, I wake up and wish I could go play basketball with my friends, but then I remember I am a horse.
I am a horse.
Okay, coming in at a hot 21, Comet and Abner.
Both of them?
That's their names. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Comet and Abner both, like, blur out of the shadow as they rush up, right towards Jerusalem.
Alright. Anyone have, like, big Kubo and the Two String vibes from these twins with the big hats?
Yeah.
Except the hats in Kubo and the Two Strings look great. These ones don't. Comet rolled a natural run, so is like, you'll pay for this! I can't believe you lied to Our Lady! And, like, steps on the silk sheet on their hat a little bit and kind of stumbles and just, like, takes this wild emotional swing with this very thin, very dainty kind of leaf-looking short sword that you had no idea they even had on their body. But it, like, slips out of their, shirt sleeve, and they make this wild emotional swing, but because they kind of stepped on their hat, they make a stumble and they just go wide. And Abner got a 13 to hit Jerusalem, which isn't going to do it. So Abner rushes in behind Comet and also takes this swing. Also doesn't quite land, but at least doesn't stumble and make a fool out of himself like his brother.
Jerusalem just like watches this like
I know.
Jerusalem, it's your turn.
I'm gonna take a moment to say something. Saying something doesn't take a move.
Speaking is a free action.
Luxabel, maybe you should have hired us to take ourselves down. Obviously, we do a better job of it.
Damn!
Hey Mark Experience listeners, it's end credits time. I know you love hearing this part, but I like to remind you guys that you can find us on Tumblr, Instagram, and even TikTok. And if you like to buy the music, you can buy it all at markexperience.bandcamp.com. We also have a constantly growing collection of merch at redbubble.com/people/mark-experience, where you can buy posters and shirts and stickers and all that. If you want to support your favorite editor and musician, you can head over to my Ko-fi account at ko-fi.com/Jamie Remy. That's spelled JAMIEREMY. Mark Experience can be located basically anywhere podcasts exist now, so you can listen wherever's easiest. See you next episode!